Raise your hand if you think April is just kind of a weird month. At least here in America, we have April as sometimes it's spring, sometimes there's snow on the ground. I got caught in an airport in Minnesota for 24 hours because there was an unexpected blizzard in mid-April. But I've also had some fantastic weather in April. And so when it came to creating the beginner cookie decorating guide for this month, I was just left stumped. I didn't want to do something that was Easter themed. I didn't really know if I wanted to do something spring themed or just something not related to the month whatsoever. But I did know that over the winter, I was really excited about creating some melted snowman cookies. And it just felt very April. And then I was thinking, what else reminds me of April? And I was like, well, flowers, because we start getting flowers in April. And then what else reminds me of April? Rain. It's rainy in April. Granted, this year it has been rainy kind of all times of the year, but April in general is known for its rain. And so I figured, let's try and make a cookie set out of it. My name is Cami Bird. I'm the creator of Iced.Kitchen. Once a month, I drop a beginner cookie decorating guide that is to help you have a hobby that you enjoy, that feels creative, and doesn't have to take a lot of your time. Just like an evening, an afternoon, whatever you can give to it is perfect for cookie decorating. So this month we are doing an April, spring, end of winter themed cookie set. And like I said, we have a melted snowman, we have a flower, and we have a umbrella. And the thing that really brings this whole set together, besides it being really an encapsulation of April, is the color scheme, which I was really excited about. So let's go mixing our colors, bagging our icing, and decorating these cookies.
We're going to use 3 different colors for this set. We're going to use white, orange, and black. So we'll start off by mixing the white together, and I will admit I added a little bit too much water to this, so I needed to come in with some more of my base icing to just thicken it up so I could get to that 20-15 second flowy icing that you see a little bit here. I just needed to add a little bit more mix to it, a little bit more arm work, and then it's flowing right off the spatula, just what we needed. Now for the orange, I'm going to add predominantly yellow to my base icing color, and then just 1, maybe 2 drops of red, because I don't want this to be too red of an orange. I want this more on like the lighter color like we're seeing right here. Obviously you add water to get this flowy texture as well. And then lastly for black, we don't need all that much black. But for black to develop as an icing color, you do have to add a lot more of that food coloring to it. I'm just adding a little bit of water because I don't need this to be as flowy. I need it to be for lines. The melted snowman cookie takes the most patience, and we start by putting just a blobby head down, and then we're going to set that cookie aside and we're going to let it just crust over. You can see that the icing in the middle is a little bit more matte, and then we do a second blob around it, and I am going to put predominantly the icing around that outside edge, and then I'm going to come in with my scribe to bring it closer to where that center head blob is, so that I'm not kind of overlapping them. They're just barely touching. And then we're going to go let that dry and come back into the outside layer. Now you can just make it the entire circle of the cookie, but I want this to look like a melted snowman, and melts don't melt so aesthetically pleasing as that. So we have a little bit of a flowy edge. And then I'm going to come in with the eyes while we're letting that outside edge kind of settle a little bit more. This is with the black icing. We do the eyes, and then we're going to do the smile. Now my smile is not staying a exact smile because this is a melted snowman. It's not going to melt perfectly. Then we're going to grab the orange for the nose, and I'm putting a really solid base, and then I'm going to drag it out for that carrot shape. Now at this point, I'm coming in with my scribe to just make sure those edges of the very last blobby white meet the second, and then I can do the arms. So this is where you're going to want to have some patience and just very lightly lay down one line for an arm, and then you're coming in to add two more for the fingers. And how I approach the first arm is different than how I approach the second arm. So you don't have to have a specific direction these go in, but I do recommend keeping them on the first and second blob. Mine goes a little over into the third section, which isn't dry yet, so not ideal. But the second one, I just extended the arm a little bit to make the fingers. And there's your snowman. For the rain umbrella cookie, we're going to start by doing just a half moon, half circle blobby orange shape, outlining and filling it in. And I'm not even going to come in with the scribe and even that out. And then we're going to take the white and outline the entire cookie. And you want to have a solid, good edge. So if you need to go around it 2 or 3 times, definitely do so, because we're just going to fill in the rest of this with white. And you're going to want to make sure, I like to outline whatever blobby shape is in the middle first so that I have a nice clean edge. And then I like to go on the outside of the cookie so that I can, again, keep my clean edges. And then I'm going to come with the scribe, just make sure that everything is going all the way to the edges, and we don't want to mess up that blobby shape. It does not need to be perfect in the middle, because then we're going to come in with the black as soon as it's crusted over so that, you know, if you were to touch it with your finger, it doesn't crumble or stick to you anymore. And we're creating that umbrella outline on top. And then we're going to do these half circle kind of scalloped edges on the bottom. And you don't have to have your orange blob match up with this perfectly. That's not the point of this cookie. And then we're going to come in and do the umbrella for the arm. Either it's a J hook. I kept changing the direction. And there you have your umbrella cookie. Simple but beautiful of a cookie is this flower rose shape that we're going to start by outlining the entire cookie with orange. We're going to make sure we have a solid edge with that outline, so going around it 2 or 3 times. And you can see I didn't quite do a good job with that circle, so my second time through I extended it, and then you're just going to fill the inside of that outline with your 15-20 second icing. And I'm doing this in layers. I swear I change how I fill my cookies every single time. It depends on the consistency, all of that fun stuff. So I fill it in, coming in with my scribe just to even it out. My icing was a little funky on this, so it kind of stuck out a bit. It's fine, it levels out. So now we're going to come in with that same orange, same consistency, nothing's changed, and we're going to start at the center and kind of just make these angled edges spiraling out. And you just trust the process with this. You do want to make sure you kind of have these edges that are moving, you're getting those corners in, then you can kind of overlap the last 2 to get your flower.
One thing I've learned more and more decorating cookies, but especially working with Iced.Kitchen and creating these beginner cookie decorating guides, is that patience is key. Patience is one of the things I lack the most when it comes to cookie decorating. I go through it. When I first started decorating cookies with my friend Abby, we would laugh about the fact that I would decorate twice as many cookies as her, and yet our cookies would kind of look very similar at the end. We would make similar mistakes, or she would nitpick about something I didn't care about, or vice versa, but I liked to decorate fast. And so this is a combo of decorating styles that I like to do, and then forcing me to be patient, particularly when it comes to the snowman, which I was very excited about. But if you're using one consistency, which is really, really nice, especially for beginner cookie decorating, but just in general, I hate mixing consistencies. I hate mixing colors. So one consistency is nice. Well, you have to get all of these layers and definition between the melted snowman. And then once that's done, you have to wait for it to what's called crust over in order to put your details on top. And the same goes for literally all the cookies in the set. Now, I will say it's easier to do these flower cookies. Some people will call them roses. I don't know what type of flower they're supposed to be. I feel like rose could fit. Do they make orange roses? Do those exist? But you want to decorate the entire base and then come back and do the swirly gig on top. And so you have to have a crust over top. Otherwise, your icing's just gonna melt into each other. And then lastly, for the umbrellas, you have to put your base down just like with the flowers. And granted, this one's a two-tone base, one of my favorite styles. I love doing line work on top of a two-tone. I don't know, something about it just brings me joy. But you have to make sure that your base has crusted over before you come back with the umbrella. Now, I will say for the umbrella, you could immediately put it on, but the lines of the black might get a little lost in the design. And so it's a little bit better to have it sitting on top. Let me know which one of these cookies was your favorite to decorate. I am loving the snowman. I think this one in particular, maybe this one will enter my little cookie, I'm gonna call it Hall of Fame, but that's not really what it is. My cookies that I'm saving that I need to figure out how to either resin coat, or I'm looking at some alternatives to putting resin on cookies so I can save them for a while because they're fun and I can't eat these cookies. So I don't get to enjoy them besides doing my hobby. I hope you will let me know which cookie was your favorite to decorate, which one you found challenging, or if there is a specific cookie style technique that you want to cover in a future video. Definitely let me know in the comments below. I'll see you next month where I will be delivering another beginner cookie decorating set just for you.